Hello everyone and welcome. This is Final Score on Abu Dhabi Sports TV, your guide to all the goals, incidents and maybe some of the gossip from match week 16 of the Adnok Pro League season. Here in the studio to go through everything with me that's happened this week. Of course, we have the legend of UAE football, Ibrahim Diaki, and the walking encyclopedia of UAE football, Pedro Correa. Welcome, gentlemen, as always. A lot to get through, but let's start, Ibrahim, with your thoughts about match week 16 in general. A couple of teams aren't playing, and the reason for that is it's such a busy period for a lot of these clubs. There's other things going on, Asian Champions League football, other competitions as well outside of the borders of the UAE. So to focus just on the league, it's quite difficult for some of these teams.
Yes, Graham, this week was very interesting. We could see the new signing, the player who signed in the clubs made some differences. So it was very interesting week, and I like the way our many goals were scored by the cross, and the finishing were great. And so far it was a really great week.
And also, Pedro, there's been a few comings and goings. The transfer window, we've had changes with personnel on the pitch and a few coaches as well. Always stirs things up at this point of the season.
Yes, Graham, definitely. The signing of João Pedro for Al Wasl was an interesting return to the Adnok Pro League. I would say the most shocking one was the fact that Tarab left Al Nasr and joined Sharjah. That was probably the most shocking transfer. But yes, we had many changes and also some managerial changes.
Okay, we'll come to the ones that were in effect for match week 16 as we go. But let's, as we always do, start with a look at some of the stats from the latest week of action in the Adnok Pro League. Let's look then at the Pro League in numbers. Here we go. 374 goals scored so far. Over 1,000 shots on target. Goals per game, 3.4. That stat always seems to be above 3 now, which is terrific for the entertainment value. Penalties, 37, and 50 matches or 50 teams have kept clean sheets so far this season. Week 16 then looked like this, and we're going to go through all of these games one by one. Khorfakkan getting a 3-0 win at home against Al Orooba. Al Ain moving up to third after their 3-1 win at home against Kalba. Bani Yas, signs of a return to form for the Abu Dhabi club. A fascinating 3-2 win on the road at Ajman. Al Battay and Dibba Al Hessan, crucial game that was. They had to share a point each. 2-2 that finished. And the defending league champions in the Dubai derby got a 1-0 win. Al Wasl away at Al Nasr. Al Jazeera's match with Sharjah and Al Wada's game against Shabab Al Ahli delayed, of course, because Sharjah and Shabab Al Ahli both in action in Asia this week. So the league table as it stands now, with those games in hand still to come for the top two, of course. Shabab Al Ahli are clear at the top by 4 points from Sharjah. Al Ain's win moves them up to third to 29 in what is now really a race for third place in the league. Al Nasr in fourth, Al Wada and Al Jazeera back in the top half of the table, and Al Wasl as well. After a bit of a struggle in the first half of the season, they've made their way into the top half of the table. Then it is Kalba, Bani Yas and Ajman. Khorfakkan looking like they should be safe for the rest of the season, but it's still a bit tricky from now until the end of the campaign for Al Battay, Dibba Al Hessan and Al Orooba, finding life extremely tough in their first season in the top division. Who doesn't find things extremely tough is Laba Kodjo. Keeps scoring as normal, as he has done for the past couple of seasons. Didn't score this week, but he's still on 13 goals. Omar Kribin doing the job he's been asked to do as well at Al Wada with 13. Mehdi Gaedi, so important for his side. He's got 10 goals. Ali Mabkout changes clubs, still finds the back of the net. 8 goals so far for Al Nasr, and Sardar Azmoun in his first season in UAE football, also on 8 goals. Terrific stuff from all of those players so far, but we're going to talk about him a bit more. Laba Kodjo, what is this, his third season where he just seems to score for fun? How is he finding it and I don't want to use the word easy, but how is he finding it so much easier to score goals than anybody else?
He's a terrific striker. He has a lot of quality. The strange thing that is, even if he's injured, he's still on the top of the top scorers. So that give him that, the quality, the strength of a real striker that he has. And he's very helpful for our line. And I'm sure if he wasn't injured, he would have scored more than that. And he's a great striker, very smart one. He knows where to move and how to when the line need that help, he's always there to help the team. And I think once he will come back, I'm sure he will go back to the goal scoring again.
And even when he was struggling a little bit to find a starting place in the team, especially last season, when he did come on, he was still scoring for fun. It didn't seem to affect him. He took his opportunities whenever they arose. A
prolific goal scorer, Graham, and he already knows the league quite well. He has a great chemistry with Bandar. Bandar's crosses. It's funny that in this last match, last Alain's match against Kalba, I was there for commentary, and Rahimi scored a goal that usually belongs to Laba, a cross from Bandar. So his aerial presence, his physical presence in the box and the overall is great. His aerial presence is very, very impactful in any match for Alain. Unfortunately, over these last 2 seasons, this season and last season, he's struggling a little bit physically, but hopefully he will be back soon.
Okay, Pedro, since you were there for Alain against Kalba, talk us through this one when a good, solid 3-1 win at home for Alain. Laba didn't score, but as you said, Rahimi kind of filled in that position. Kwame Kwadio got a goal and Romero as well. It was Mehdi Gaedi, as he always seems to do at some point in the match, even if they lose. He does seem to get a goal for Kalba. But this was all about Alain and a professional display.
Yes, so Alain with the new coach after the departure of Leonardo Jardim, now it's Vladimir Ivic. Somehow a game of 2 halves. A very good first half for Alain, very consistent. Not just Alain, but mostly Alain in this round, working quite well the set pieces. We had many goals from set pieces in this round, and Alain scored these 3 goals somehow coming out from the set pieces situations. This goal by Kako is amazing. It's a great goal from also a great player. So it was a good first half for Alain. Second half, Kalba reacted because Kalba was disappointing in the first half. The second half, they reacted and they fought for the match. At some point, we had a feeling at the stadium that eventually Kalba could somehow operate a comeback. It did not happen. Alain managed to get the 3 points. It is important in this phase of the season for Alain to start winning consistently, to start building up their confidence again. Because they have an important tournament in the summer, of course.
I would like to highlight on the deliveries, the 2 goals, Bander
exactly what I was going to ask
and
you
Palacios. Honestly, you can see the quality and the delivery. Of course, the execution also, the finishing was great, but we really have to mention how, for example, the action was built, and then the control and the precision, because especially the delivery of Bander, amazing.
You have Bandar, as you say, delivering on the right. Eric Jorgens often delivering on the left, and you have Kaku as well, who can deliver from any point on the pitch as well.
Graham, I can tell you, you need to have the quality to put the ball with that precision exactly in that area. Of course, the free kick also of Palacios.
Palacios, yes.
It's similar action. Great. As Pedro mentioned, I think they were working on the set pieces maybe in the week on the. To try to finalize.
No, because throughout the match, mostly in the first half, you could clearly see in the set pieces, both corner kicks and free kicks, that there was work coming out of the training ground because they were trying different routines, and Kalba was a little bit puzzled.
Yeah.
And eventually it paid off for Alain. But Rahimi's goal is also quite something, the way he moves. He got himself on the blind spot of the defenders. And the header is a header. Again, it reminded me, I even said it during commentary, it reminded me a lot of Laba, the way he headed the ball. And the cross from Bandar, again, another distraction there by Kalba or any team. You cannot leave Bandar to cross.
And sometimes you can have great delivery, but bad finishing.
Yeah.
But in this situation, Great delivery and good finishing.
Yeah.
And then how much of this is the talent of the Al Ain players with the crosses coming in and the finish, and how much, as some people were saying during the game, was just bad defensive decisions from Kalba as well? What kind of was the mix between the two angles of looking at it? Kalba did sometimes just lack concentration at the back.
I think when they played, they opened the game. And if you play against a team like Al Ain, and if you open the game, you will have a lot of problems because the quality is there from every side of the field. And we all know that the strength, one of the strengths of Al Ain is more on the wing, on the right side, especially Banders. Bander, if you give him this kind of space, he can make great deliveries.
Now, as we could see in the Piero, they were always in the first half. The second half was different. It was different, but the first half, Kalba was always coming late. When they would arrive to the game center, it was already late. And of course, as you said, there is the quality of Al Ain. No argues on that. But also Kalba in the first half
on the Piero,
was not focused.
It is very important for the defense to come out quickly to put pressure, because a player like Fabio Lima, Kaku, they have the ability, they have the technique, they have the quality to put the ball exactly where you don't want.
Yeah,
and also to play them offside if there's the case. If you come out, they were sinking too much. I think it was the set pieces. The way Al Ain was working on the set pieces, Kalba was confused. Was clearly confused. They were not expecting those set pieces, and
but I would like to highlight also Gaidi is in great form.
Terrific.
Even the free kick that he scored also was very important for his team. But I think they were doing well against. Of course, they played against Al Ain. Al Ain is one of the strongest teams right now in the league. So I think that they played a good game. They were playing compact as a team, and they could get the 3 points.
I totally agree with what Ibrahim is saying. Gaedi is the second player to contribute more with goals. 10 goals plus 5 assists, 15 goal contributions. Only Laba has more, has 16 goals. But Gaedi, it's the Iranian Messi, as I usually say. It's the Iranian Messi. It's an amazing player.
And he's one of the big reasons, really, why Kalba are doing good this season. They're in 8th place, impressive performances, safe from any relegation worries, we should think. For Al Ain, that was their 8th win of the season, took them up to 3rd. As for the defending league champions, Al Wasl, they've had a mixed second season, like the difficult second album, if you will, on the continental football in terms of the AFC Champions League elite, doing very well and looking to progress to the knockout stages. Domestically, though, hasn't been as great, and then they come up against the Dubai Derby, against the resurgent Al Nasr side this season. They come away with a narrow 1-0 win. Great goal from Nicolas Jimenez, but really important for Al Wasl to have got 3 points back in the Adnok Pro League again.
Mathematically, it's just 3 points, but this is a Dubai derby too. So there's also the psychological factor. And this Al Nasr 24-25 version is a good version of Al Nasr. There's still lots of room for improvement. Now, since they have lost Tarabt in the last month, I feel they are still trying to pick up themselves, especially in the offense, where they have 2 amazing strikers like Ali Mabhout and now Haris Seferovic. But the fact that Tarabt left, there's some lack now of creativity of those key passes that Tarabt has. They signed Mateus Oliveira. He's a good signing, can do the position and somehow the role, but in a different way, and Al Nasr will have to adapt to that. It was a hard-fought derby. It was an engaging derby. It was not the best derby I have ever seen. It was not the worst also. But Al Wasl is also improving a lot. Al Wasl is now getting closer to the last season's version. And I think João Pedro signing is important to that. And also the fact that Poblete is somehow returning. And Nicolas Jimenez, etc., are also getting back to their old form.
Yeah, mentioning Nicolas Jimenez there, he scored the goal. There he is in freeze frame. And you were talking about the creativity of Al Nasr. You worried that with Tarabt going that might just lessen the creativity in general. But Ibrahim, for Al Wasl, having Jimenez in sparkling form is not a bad thing, and he often creates as much as he scores, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a very important playmaker also, because Jimenez, what I like about him, the way how he moves, the way how he understands where he has to be to receive the ball and try to feed the strikers. You can see on the goal here the quality, the way how he did the 1-2 with João Pedro, and the finishing. He put the ball in the perfect corner, and the technique that he has allow him to score this type of goals. And since last year, he's been doing great, and he's a great addition for Al Wasl. And I'm sure with the coming game also, he has more, and he's very, very important. But João Pedro coming to the front line of Al Wasl will be a plus, because having on the right side Ali Salah, Fabio, Jimenez, and João Pedro, these four players will be like a big damage for the defenders.
Pretty scary stuff for the opposition, that's for sure. All right, let's move on then from teams who are battling to finish in the top positions in the table, maybe qualify for Asia next season, to a couple of teams who are battling to stay in the Adnok Pro League, Al Batay and Dibba Al Hissan. Pedro, this finished 2-2. I know the mission when you're in a relegation battle is to not lose these crucial matches, but just a point doesn't really help either of them, does it? But either of them really needs to come away with 3.
But I think Bataya in the end would be more frustrated than Dibba Al Hissan, because Dibba Al Hissan was playing away. Dibba Al Hissan improved a lot, especially like since January. They have improved a lot ever since the coach Hassan Al-Abdouli got in. They are doing better now, but especially the last month or so, they are improving a lot. Bataya came back from an early 1-0 disadvantage to 1. If they have won this match, they would be very close to safety, because they would have increased the gap. And at the same time, again, the psychological factor of winning against a direct competitor. In this case, Dibba Al Hissan managed to get 1 point, so the gap is just 2 points in between them. I think for Dibba Al Hissan, in the end, it was better.
It was a late equaliser from Dor, wasn't it? 90th minute to steal a point for Dibba and to really break the hearts of Al Batay fans as well. Ibrahim, you've never really been involved in a relegation battle. You're always fighting for trophies when you were playing, so you can't probably understand. But you must understand the feeling within the camps of teams like Dibba Al Hissan and Al Batay and Al Orooba, of course, at the bottom. It's just stress every week, isn't it? So desperate to get 3 points and get out of trouble that you find yourselves a bit frozen and you can't play properly.
Yeah, it's when you're in the relegation zone, it's very important not to make too many mistakes. So every games are crucial. You have to give your best to fight to make sure that you can stay on the top. And I think the result of 2-2, I can understand, because both they're trying to get the points to come up on the table. And but actually, Dibba, they didn't made a bad game. They could fight for it. 1 point is not bad, because if you compare from the way how they started the season to the games now, I think there is a little improvement. So I think they have to fight more, and things going to get better.
Okay, the very bottom of the table then, Al Orooba, just 3 points all season. It's a long season for them, isn't it, Pedro? Khorfakkan were at home, beat them comfortably, 3-0. Humaid Tissoudali, who we'll talk about in a second, and Umar Kita as well, getting on the score sheet. It looks desperate for Al Orooba. For Khorfakkan, that was really crucial, that 3 points for them just pulled them a little bit away from the trouble right at the bottom.
Definitely, it was very important. Orooba is struggling, but that is natural from a team that has been promoted from the first division. It's what usually happens. They made some changes also now during the winter transfer window, even managerial changes also. They signed some players, but it's a complicated season. As for Khorfakkan, they seem now to be getting on the right track. They also made some interesting signings, namely the return of Ailton Beaumort. Also, this new striker, Tissoudali, seems to be an interesting player, a Moroccan striker. And they managed to win. They were very efficient. and the opportunities they had, because most of the control of the match was for Orooba, actually. 62% of the possession against 38%. So Orooba had more of the possession, more of the ball, but then in the end, 3-0 for Khorfakkan.
They have great structure in the team. They play as a team. They have great block. The compatibility between all the players, you can see it, the way how they move, the way how they start from the back. And I think that's what making the difference. And if they continue like that, I think they will come more up. And coming to Orooba, I think they lost confidence. And the moment...
It's hard to keep it.
Yes, but it's the Adnok Pro League. You have to keep going, because the moment you kind of relax a bit, you will have some situation. Because it was one of the teams that I really respected, because when they play, they give 100%. And they try to get the 3 points. So I think they will have to pick themselves up and be more stronger and be more courageous and fight for all the points, because seeing them at the bottom of the table, I don't think it's the Orooba that we know.
Yeah. Let's focus a bit more, just talk about our player of the week. It is, in fact, Tissoudali, new signing for Khorfakkan. He's already scored a goal. He's got a couple of assists as well. He's really come in and, well, he's doing what he's been hired to do, but he's doing it really well. He's come in with a lot of confidence, straight away, straight off the bat. Didn't seem to have any nerves of coming into the Adnok Pro League at all. And he's going to be a nice, creative addition for Khorfakkan.
Yeah, it has to do a lot with the characteristics, Graham. The quality of the player always, but also the characteristics. I believe you always need to bring a player that will fit in the style of play you want to implement in your team. And Khorfakkan is traditionally a team that tries to defend well and then tries to use the counter-attack, which is natural, it's okay, it's part of the game. So they have, or usually they should have players that will suit that style and that strategy. And this player has those characteristics, because even though he seems to be a good finisher, he's also a player who has the capacity to move around, to link up, to try to find the ball in the space, to run into the back of the defensive line. So he has those characteristics that can link up perfectly in a team like Khorfakkan, and now also with the help of Ailton Beaumort plus the other players they have there, they have everything to have a good second half of the season and to stay in the Adnok Pro League.
And with the addition of Tissoudali and that speed and that imagination, they're now much more of a counter-attacking team than they were before as well.
Ram, as a playmaker, I like this kind of strikers. He's always ready to go. You can see in all the action, always fighting. When there's the defensive part, he just try to come in block. But offensive part, once the midfielder receives the ball, he's ready to go. And that's very important. There's a great quality for a striker. And I think he's a great addition for Khorfakkan. And hopefully I wish him more good luck, because he has the quality. And it's important for the striker to understand also it's not only offensive side, but the defensive part is very important. You can see sometimes that the way I will drop back to be in block, once they receive the ball, he's ready to go, and that's making a difference.
It's what I was going to add, a bit like Walid Azaro, it's also Moroccan, by the way, attachment. When the team is sinking on the pitch, a striker like this gives you the option of stretching it long. If you are tight and you need to break free, you can stretch it long and he will chase the ball.
He give volume.
Or if you can also link up with him. He can drop a little bit to link up with the teammates. So he offers you a variety of movements that helps a lot in a team like this, where if you're a team that plays in possession and play inside the opponent's defensive midfield, if you have a striker that is mostly playing inside the box, in and around the box, okay, it works for this team, but for a team like Khorfakkan, having a striker that has this versatility of movements, it's key for a season.
Look forward to seeing the development of Tissoudali as the season goes on. That win takes Khorfakkan up to 18 points, 8 points above the relegation places. So they'll be breathing a little bit easier this week. Let's move on then to Bani Yas. 3-2 win away at Ajman. It wasn't really a fight back. It was the damage was done by Bani Yas at Niakate, of course, getting a goal for Wazawana and Markovic, getting their 3 goals before 73 minutes was up. Kosanovic and Lithari getting 2 what turned out to be consolation goals for Ajman. For Bani Yas, that helps them as well a lot. That takes them up to 19 points, well away from trouble, same as Ajman, level on points. It's going to be a bit of a battle between the two sides, I think, for the rest of the season. For Bani Yas, I've always had recognition of Bani Yas. They have a real fighting spirit amongst the team. A couple of seasons ago, of course, they were runners-up in the league. Ever since then, they have this never-say-die attitude. One of the best in the league, I would say.
Yeah, and usually there's that saying that you should not return to a place where you were happy, but Daniela Ezaila did it, and he's doing it quite well, because ever since
also means we get to see his jackets again, which I'd been missing his fancy jackets on the touchline.
So since January, it's also since Daniela Ezaila returned to Bani Yas to replace João Pedro Sousa. Bani Yas is the second best team in the league after just Shabab Al Ahly since January. They have not lost any match for the Adnok Pro League. They lost for the President's Cup, but in the Adnok Pro League they have not lost any match. And now a 3-2 away win. It is true that Ajman got reduced to 10 men very early in the match, but a very competent win. And besides, of course, the return of Daniel Ezaila, and you can see his fingerprint already on the team clearly. The fact that also Markovic, the man there on the ball, Markovic is getting back to his old ways. A man who played in the Premier League for Liverpool, played in Portugal also for Benfica and Sporting, among other teams. It was, for me, the most intriguing signing of the summer. Came here to play for Bani Yas, and now he's showing his skills and is affecting the matches, and I believe he's going to have a very interesting second half of the season.
And also up front there, Niakate highlighted there. He's been a bit of a stalwart for Bani Yas. Sometimes he's just been a lone striker, not getting much of the ball, but he now has these creative players around him, which affords him much more chances on goal, and he's taking advantage of it. And Bani Yas in general now are a good counter-attacking team. They love to pass the ball around it and make things happen, not just route one anymore, which they had been accused of for a little bit for a while.
Yes, as Pedro mentioned earlier, the fact that the coach Daniel came back to the team, you can see that the players are more comfortable. And they play like he has authority. You can see that he has an impact. The fact that he's back, and I think they're doing well. Bani Yas is one of the teams in the league. At any moment, they can beat any team.
Yeah.
So you don't know when you're coming against them. Even when I used to play, it was always difficult because you cannot understand in which mood they are or they will beat you or not. You're not, even if you're that confident. So I think they needed the coach who the player feel comfortable when he has a coach that he can enjoy the football. And I think they're doing so far well, and I'm sure coming to Niakate, of course, is like a fox in the box. You give him a small action, he will finish it.
And as I was saying though, but he's had so little sometimes to feed off. You felt a bit sorry for him sometimes, stranded down on the halfway line while Bani Yas were defending. But now he does have this outlet, and you can really see him shining.
Yeah, but Markovic also can feed him a lot of balls, and because he has the quality. And
again, if I was talking about Tissoudali and Walid Azaro before, Niakate is also a perfect example of the perfect fit characteristics, the perfect fit for a team like Bani Yas that plays in the style that Bani Yas.
By the way, the cross of Fawaz also. Great delivery.
Fawaz, what a captain to have on your side as well. Okay, let's look at the lineup. Our pick of the best players, best performers we think of the season. Chaps, take a look. Does anyone stand out that we haven't really mentioned so far? Rahimi, he's perennially on there, I think. Nicolas Jimenez, we talked about. Awana, we just did. Markovic, Pedro, Tissoudali. Also, Buftini is a bit of an unsung hero, but a stalwart character at the back for Al Wasl. Pedro Pavlov as well, making a name for himself in defence. Al Sanani, terrific goalkeeper, and defending champion is the manager as well, Milos Milojevic. Is that a fair pick?
Yeah, I think Tarek Tissoudali is the best player of the week, and also somehow the surprise because it is a new signing. All the others, we know them from previous rounds. And the fact that Pedro Pavlov from Khorfakkan is there is also something that it's interesting to highlight. A very reliable left back, very solid player that can also play as a central defender. It's interesting.
Anyone that didn't make our team, Ibrahim, this week that you would think needs another mention before we wrap up?
Honestly, I think all they deserve to be there. They did great this week. Soufiane, he was in great form last game, and the goal of Kwame also with the header was a great goal. And of course, Buffettini and Nicolas Jimenez, they were helping also a lot. And Markovic, all of them, they deserve to be there. And Bander, what a delivery. So,
we cannot play with 12, but I would also add Palacios.
Yes.
Alain's Palacios.
Yeah.
He's quite a midfielder.
Well, we can have him on the bench then.
Okay.
We should do that. We'll start having a bench from
we
now
have a
on.
deal. We have a deal.
Okay, let's look ahead then to match week 17 of the Adnok Pro League season. Match week's coming thick and fast now. Bit of a smaller one. Dibba Al Hissan, they've got another chance to try and get some valuable points. They are at home against Ajman. Kalba against Khorfakkan. That's going to be a fun one to watch. Al Wasl against Al Ain. Crucial for both teams there. The defending league champions against the currently reigning AFC Champions League winners. Also, Sharjah at home to Al Batay. Now with Tarabd in their lineup, of course. Al Orooba, can they get more than just their 3 points by the end of the season? It's going to be tough, because they're against the leaders, Shabab Al Ahli. Al Nasr at home against Al Jazeera, and an Abu Dhabi derby to finish off at the Bani Yas Stadium, where Bani Yas welcome near neighbours Al Wada. Terrific games to look forward to. I think perhaps the Al Wasl Al Ain is the standout of the week.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So much riding on it.
Yeah, and it's important for the third place at least. It's complicated to get to the first two places as we speak. It's not impossible, but it's hard. But both for Al Wasl and Al Ain, the third place is now an option that they have to fight for.
We haven't been able to mention them this week because they haven't played, but Sharjah and Shabab Al Ahli. Shabab Al Ahli on 41 points now, 4 ahead of Sharjah. Is it a two-horse race for the title? Is that what we're assuming now? I mean, Al Ain are still 8 points away from second place. That's a big gap at the top of the table where dropping points is not going to be common for either of those teams.
I think we can have a slight picture of who is fighting for the race for the title. Of course, Sharjah and Shabab Al Ahli. It won't be easy because they are two teams that are very strong and very organized. And I think the coming games will be very important for both teams. Nobody has the right to lose. Anyone who will lose will have the slight gap that will make the difference. So I think all the games are important. This week game also, Jazeera Al Nasr, is not an easy game. And because, of course, Al Nasr is in front with 1 point difference, Al Jazeera 15 points. So it will be, I know Al Jazeera will try to get to in the front. And Ali Mabkoud also playing against Jazeera. It will be an interesting game to see.
And now Al Jazeera away is dangerous.
Yeah, yeah.
They are a very good team away, mostly. Yeah.
So what we're saying in general, a lot to look forward to in match week 17. Thank you, as always, to Ibrahim, to Pedro. Couldn't do it without you, and couldn't do it without you as well. Thank you very much for joining us. Join us again for more Adnok Pro League action in next week's final score. But for now, from everybody here at Abu Dhabi Sports, good night.